Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here, and we are officially in spoiler season for Set 7 at Lawless Time. In this video, I wanted to go over both of FFG's announcements that happened this week in a news article showing off some of the new cards for Set 7 and what was covered at their presentation at PAX Unplugged. I will have timestamps down below if you'd like to jump around to the section you care about the most, as well as both news articles and the PAX event footage linked in the description below. Okay, so we have two new mechanics for this set. In credits, so while paying resources, you may defeat this token. If you do, pay one less. And multi-aspect cards. This is the first time you can have, for example, here we have a vigilance and aggression aspect on the same card here in Zep. So, and also a pretty powerful effect, but we'll get into this mechanic second. Let's start with credits and the examples they gave. So here we go. For credits, we start off with Jabba the Hutt, this leader here. This is a new leader for Set 7. Action, pay one resource, return a friendly underworld unit to its owner's hand, create a credit token. Then on the flip, this is going to be a crazy flip turn here. We have a six resource, 3 attack, 9 health unit. Play an underworld unit from your hand if you defeat a credit while paying its cost. That unit gains ambush for this phase. So we're action cheating and gaining ambush. Those are two of the most powerful effects in the game. Let's see an activator. We have Salacious Crumb at 1 cost, 0 attack, 2 health unit with raid 2. And if you control Jabba the Hutt as a leader or unit, this unit enters play ready. And so the benefit here is that it's a 1 cost. We can create a credit token with Jabba the Hutt's ability on turn 1. But let's look off some of the payoffs that we're going to be looking for the 6 resource turn, where we flip Jabba the Hutt and try to activate his ambush ability there. So first one, and the most obvious one, is going to be Jabba's Rancor. 7 cost, 7/7 with hidden, and on attack, an opponent chooses a ground unit they control. You may deal 7 damage to that unit. So normally, a 7 cost, 7/7 is not great. Also, it doesn't do something on play. It's only an on attack ability. But when we combine the credit and Jabba's ability, this is now a 6 cost unit because we pay one of the credits to be able to make it cheaper. And then Jabba's ability is, if you defeated a credit while paying its cost, that unit gains ambush for this phase. So then that means we're going to activate the on-attack ability when we play this and cheat it out for only 6 resources. So an opponent chooses a ground unit they control. You may deal 7 damage to that unit. So basically, we're just going to delete something for 7 the second it is played, leaving a 7/7 on 6 there with hidden, so you can't interact it through attacking. I think this is a pretty great payoff, but we do have a few more that I think are just as good. So we have Boba Fett. When played and on attack, you may pay 1. If you do, deal 3 damage to a ground unit. Assuming we have a credit, and this is a 5 resource card, we're going to be able to pay 1 less, so bring it out for 4, and then we'll be able to, on the on-play ability, pay 1 to do 3 damage to a ground unit, and then the on-attack ability, because we now have Jabba the Hutt's ambush passive, because this is an underworld unit, then it's going to do 3 damage to a ground unit again. So we theoretically could kill 3 units with this. It's kind of like an ambushed out Anakin, which is pretty crazy, because you will be able to on play do 3 damage to a unit, on attack do 3 damage to a unit, and be able to actually ambush in and potentially kill a unit with an aggressive stat line of 6 attack. I think that's actually pretty reasonable. So this is going to be an insane flip turn here. Okay, so that's going to be it for the actual payoffs with Jabba's ability here. But let's talk about one last thing that they revealed in the Sarlacc of Carcoon. 8 cost, 8/9 creature unit, so not underworld, so it can actually interact with this ambush portion of Jabba's ability. On attack, put a unit from your discard pile to the bottom of the deck, deal damage equal to that unit's power to an enemy grand unit. And then it comes with a new base with a very unique effect that hasn't happened yet in SWU. Epic action, discard a unit from your hand, search your deck for a card named Sarlacc of Carcoon, reveal it, and draw it. So we'll at least be able to guarantee that we'll have this when we need it if you're looking to play this unit. And especially if you're using credits with Jabba the Hutt, you can at least try to cheat this out a little earlier, because normally an 8 cost, 8/9, do nothing until the on attack trigger is just not good enough for most things, but maybe is good enough if you could play it on like 6 resources, for example. So pretty interesting new mechanic here. I really like this new addition of the base to be able to search something out, but I'm going to be curious to see just how good it is when the actual all the cards are revealed and new set comes out. So now let's move on to the next new mechanic. Okay, as a way to showcase the effect of multi-aspect characters, starting off with Leia Organa, action, pay 2 resources for this phase, give a unit +1/+1 for each different aspect it has. And then if you control 5 or more resources, deploy this leader. As you'll notice, it's a 2/2, but on flip ability is overwhelm. When deployed, choose a unit, give an experience token to that unit for each different aspect among units you control. So you can just give her the experience tokens based on what you already have on board of those different aspects. So you can make her actually a pretty strong unit depending on how many aspects you have. Let's give it an idea of some of those units that you'll see. Starting with Han Solo, it's a Vigilance Command 1/1 shielded unit, and then on attack, give an experience token to this unit. So as time goes on, it's just going to keep getting stronger and stronger. And then we have Zeb. This is a really powerful ability, Vigilance, Aggression, Heroic card. So 3 total aspects in 1 card here. A 4/4 stat line with Signal. When played, you may deal 3 damage to a ground unit. If you control a command or cunning unit, you may deal 5 damage to a ground unit. So pretty powerful on-played effect with this unit, but you're pigeonholed into having command or aggression. And then we have R2-D2, 2-cost command heroic, 1/3 stat line, rebel droid. When played, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a unit that shares an aspect with a friendly unit, reveal it, and draw it. So a pretty universal way of being able to search more cards in the deck, but a very underpowered stat line. And then the last card here, we have Leia's Disguise. Attached to a non-vehicle unit, attached unit gains the Underworld trait. When played, if attached unit is Leia, give a shield token to another friendly unit, So you can give it to herself or you can give it to another unit depending on how you want to go. So a lot of flexibility with her on flip ability by giving experience tokens to one of her units or herself. And then with Leia's Disguise, giving the shield token to herself or someone else as well, plus a 2/2 for 2. So it seems like a pretty powerful synergy there. I guess we'll see when the set comes out just how good this is, but we have one more thing that we can really synergize with having all these multi-aspects, which is this base here. So Daimo's Palace, epic action, play a card from your hand, ignoring one of its Vigilance, Command, Aggression, or Cunning aspect penalties. So pretty interesting to see just how powerful this is. It's hard for me to really evaluate just how good this is on its surface, but seems pretty good. Also, all of this is coming in right when Hera's getting rotated, which is pretty feels bad in my opinion, but hopefully we'll get some more Spectre synergy in this set going forward. That's pretty much it when it comes to the new mechanics that they released and the examples for each of the mechanics, but I want to cover the PAX Unplugged event on the announcements for the game going forward. Nothing like too game-changing here, but we do got a few new cards. Hondo, Cunning Vigilance card, 5 cost, 3/7, and you may look at the top card of your deck at any time, and then action, play the top card from your deck, paying its cost using this ability only once each round. Not sure if this is any good, but it's definitely a very unique effect. And then we have Boba Fett and Dr. Aphra. Already covered Boba Fett, but Dr. Aphra, a 4-cost aggression unit of 4 attack, 5 health, and Underworld. On attack, discard 3 cards from your deck. You may return an Underworld card discarded this way to your hand. Pretty interesting effect there. And then we have Qui-Gon Jinn. 4-cost cunning, 3/5 Signal. When played and on attack, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may discard one of them, put the rest back on top in any order. And then we have Han's Golden Dice as the final card from this event here. A 1-cost cunning heroic card. Attached unit gains. On attack, discard a card from your deck. If its cost is odd, create a credit token. Leads to the next thing here, which is the Twin Suns format. This is the thing that they announced at the event. This is basically just Twin Suns format, new leaders, and pre-con decks for Twin Suns. Hopefully getting more people to play this. And here are going to be the leaders that they announced. So we have Maul and Savage. We have Rex and Snips, Asajj Ventress and Dooku. And then finally, we have Padme and Anakin. So pre-con decks, and these are announced to be new leaders as well. So 8 new leaders total for this coming in spring 2026. And then finally, they have a product release timeline. I believe this top portion is all known, and they've announced this a while ago. So we know that the set's coming out in March 2026. Twin Suns format coming in spring, and then Ashes of Empire and Homeworld coming later. But this new one in Icons here, basically this is going to be a jumping off point for new players, is how they announced this. Using iconic characters is what they said at the PAX event. And then finally, one of the things that they mentioned too is that the packs themselves are going to get a revamp. They didn't give any specifics, but my hope is they're going to do something where they get rid of Carbonite or kind of combine the two, because as a buying product just feels terrible at the moment. And I'm hoping that they add a little bit more dopamine in these packs to make them worth it. Because right now there's a reason why the cost is just tanking so much. And I think they're seeing that and they're trying to revamp it. So hopefully that revamp is actually good. But with that, guys, that's going to call it for this video here. A lot of new announcements. Excited for Set 7. I think there's been basically no breathing room. They just release Set 6 and then right into previews for Set 7, but still cool to see. I like the new mechanics. Hopefully they bring back some of the old good mechanics like Smuggle, for example. I think this is thematically a great set to do that, but curious to hear your guys' thoughts down below. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.